So, how have the small group discussions helped form a learning community?
I feel like they've helped us like gain more perspective and like all the things that we talk about because sometimes like I'll like gain something from a lecture and like somebody else will gain something like totally different and then we get the chance to like talk about it and like understand more because we have like the shared experience and different perspectives.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I also just think it's really beneficial for me always to get an opinion from someone who's not myself, just because you're obviously going to be more biased, and we all have like very different experiences just in college, but also in how we were raised. So I love how like none of us actually met each other in person. I mean, like, like we didn't have to like go through all of this, but now we were just like randomly assigned to these groups, and it's actually really cool because we notice we have like a lot more in common, but then there's also like some small differences where it's like it helps form my understanding more to like recognize that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with both of you guys. I feel like if we didn't have the small group discussions, I feel like I would only have like so much of an understanding of like the module videos. 'Cause I mean, it's been really cool to just like kind of like, I mean, like we have to talk about it for 20 minutes. So like I feel like we just get to go in whatever direction like our brains take us, which is cool.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely helped me understand the like all those topics and stuff. Like it made me like really understand it by just us talking about it more in depth and giving our own opinions and experiences. So it definitely helped me through this class because I probably like would have watched the videos and then just kind of like, oh, all these little like definitions of things, but until like we had our weekly discussions and we all like talked about like, oh, what this meant to us and like things that examples in pop culture and stuff. So I think that really helped understand it more.
Yeah, I agree, and I feel like it made it like feel more like a class because I feel like sometimes like online classes that don't have like meeting times don't really feel like as much like classes. So I feel like this was like a really good way to like because I liked not having meeting times, but having this and like being able to watch like the professors' videos and lectures and then like being able to talk about it with everybody. I liked being able to do that more than like just like a scheduled class. So I think like the dynamic of both of them like worked really well.
I agree with that. Like, I don't think I would have talked as much as I talked in like the discussions if we had like a full classroom. So it's cool that like we have this like little group, you know?
Yeah.
For sure. I always feel more pressure to have my camera on whenever it's a small group. So the fact that it's just like, like us. If everyone else was here, I would speak up if I felt the urge to, but you would never see my face.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the next question is how have these small group discussions served you this semester?
I think it was kind of cool to like, I mean, I don't know if this is like really class related, but I thought it was really cool to like just meet new people because I mean, I feel like I wouldn't have just met like friends like in this classroom if it was like such a big like lecture and it's all online. So like, how are you gonna talk to people? So I think this was kind of like a cool experience. Like, got to know y'all, and y'all are really cool.
I agree with that, especially because like we've been in a pandemic for a year, so I haven't really been going anywhere. So like not making a whole lot of friends right now. So this group has been cool. And plus like Chandler, you ended up helping me on my film, which was great. I would probably have had a hard time finding someone if I didn't have this little group.
Oh my gosh, I know. That was so random. I don't even know why. Like I was just like, oh yeah, like I would love to film something. It's so random. But it was fun. I liked meeting everybody and like it was a cute little project. So I know I totally agree with that though. Like I mean, yeah, like I made friends here and there just randomly, but I like there's a difference between having like your besties and then having just class friends and people who you just talk about your assignments with just because like they get it, they know what's going on. And I feel like all of us have just kind of been like in it together the whole time. Like hasn't really been like too much like pressure to have a conversation. I feel like our conversations have really flowed, which feels great. It's like, oh, this is reassuring. Like it's not impossible to get through a class or college like during a pandemic. So
yeah, and I think it really fits with like being like a pop culture class because it's about like society and like how like people work like socially and like the social media world and stuff. So I feel like it like I like that we're like talking about it like and as people because like that's exactly like kind of the kind of stuff that we're like looking at and studying like how people take in like media and stuff like that and how like that affects the world. So I think it's really fun that like we're getting to kind of do that in our small groups.
Yeah, especially in a pandemic, it is nice to have a little like human interaction. I mean, even though it's online, able to.
I think you might have cut out a little bit.
Yeah, you cut out a little bit. If you want to like repeat that.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just saying, like, especially in a pandemic, it was like nice to like finally like talk to people, like have human interactions, like in a class. But I mean, even though it was online, but it was definitely more. I would have talked a lot less if it was a big lecture for sure.
yeah, I also think meeting with you guys every week, like it, it kind of made this whole routine to where I was motivated to get things done in a certain order. It was like, okay, we're going to do the group discussion, which means we have to do the presentable, which means I have to like get the quiz done before I have to do the other assignments. Like, because if everything's due at 5, you only have so much like allotted time to get everything done. And so it was really nice to have this whole scheduled thing, almost like a book club where I was doing the work and I was having my own thoughts only to like prepare to come to a group where we can like dissect everything. So it was nice to think things, but then not have all the pressure in the world to know like that's the right thing, because I could just talk about it with you guys and you can either like agree, disagree, or push it a little bit more and like dissect it with me. So yeah, I'm liking it.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel like it's easy to like miss something or just get something like in a weird way. So just to be able to like figure out what everyone else is thinking about it and like seeing different perspectives is really cool.
Yeah, and I like that we were like kind of like forced to like think about everything that we were like taking in and like learning. 'Cause I feel like sometimes with the class, like especially if like it's a busy like time with your other classes, it can be easy to just like do the work but not like really take in like the material. But I feel like this like forces us to like take in the material because we have to like talk about it for 20 minutes. So I like that it like held me like accountable in the class with like actually like understanding the material without just like doing it to get the good grade and like not thinking about it.
I felt like it was really easy to talk about this like subject because I mean it's pretty interesting, like pop culture, and I mean we're young and we obviously like are always enjoying like pop culture, whether it's like social media, movies, like everything. So it is like kind of an interesting topic. So I kind of like enjoy talking about it.
So next question, what have we learned from each other?
Aw, I feel like I've learned a lot from you guys. I mean, for one thing, like I obviously am now trying to consider certain things of like pop culture from all different kinds of perspectives, because you guys have all like in each conversation we've had brought something to light that I didn't necessarily pay attention to as much or didn't even notice at all. So I think like just the mere fact that like it's been a consistent group and like I feel like I kind of know you all more now, I'm now going to take that into consideration moving forward, like all my other opinions. It's like, oh, well, you can't just like have a snap judgment about something because you didn't think about like X, Y, and Z about it. And maybe it's like, blah, 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 blah. So I feel like, um, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I will definitely try and be more thoughtful whenever it comes to like forming a perception.
Yeah, I feel like when we talked about like music and how like who we loved at first and like why we loved them and like connected to them like as an artist and like their music, I really liked that. I feel like it like really made me like learn a lot about music and like how it like affects the way people feel because we all had such like an individual experience with like what we like first loved about music. And I thought that was really cool to see how like everybody takes it in and like what speaks to certain people.
Yeah, I feel that. I think we all kind of like have our own like backgrounds and like perspectives and stuff, but it's been cool also to see like where we all kind of like, I guess, like have similar thoughts and like perspectives on issues. Like, I mean, like pop culture too, it's about stuff that like is pretty mainstream, and I think we all kind of like are pretty in tune with like the things that are going on, like the trends and all of that stuff, like TikTok videos and things like that. So it's been cool to talk about that.
Yeah, I thought it was cool, like getting to know like like some things y'all would say. Like I was like, oh, I've never heard of that, or it was kind of cool to like hear new things. But also, I feel like it was interesting how we had a lot of similarities at the same time. Like we would like the same shows or the same songs with the same artists. So that was kind of cool just to like see us like have things in common, and then also like learn a lot from each other. Yeah, the music lesson was so fun. I felt the same way with that page. I also thought it was cool whenever we talked about, I don't even remember the name of like the module this was, but whenever all of us were talking about trends of like the 2000s, and like whenever we all got phones, and you know, like we kind of mentioned in that one group conversation how like niche it was that our specific age group, like not even people like 3 or like 4 years older than us would get, or people like a couple years younger than us would get, because it's like we all got phones around the same time. But you jump a little bit forward and it's like, no, people weren't getting phones till they were like in high school, or like people weren't getting phones if they were like younger than us, or they were already getting them if they were younger than us by the time that they were like 8 or something, you know. Like I just thought it was funny to pinpoint the very specific things that we've all gone through, because you don't really think about that. Like you don't really reflect too much, I think, on things of your childhood and think about how much that is like affecting you now.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it really showed us how like the pop culture from like our younger generation like really like affected us now, and like especially affected like our humor, because like we said like that one time, like the things like the Vine jokes and stuff are just like such like a niche thing that like a lot of people know, but like a lot of people our age know, and like I feel like that's something that like really like connects a lot of people, and it was just like stuff that was funny that everybody thought was funny, and I feel like that shaped like a lot of the ways we connect with people and like the shared humor that everybody has.
So what lessons or memories will you take with you?
I feel like we just had so many of those. So funny.
Yeah, all the questions are kind of like about just the group. So yeah. I mean, they were all pretty significant. Like we touched on just a bunch of different issues, but I think like what impacted me like a lot was just learning about, it was pretty early on, about how all of our like media networks are ran by like a handful of corporations, even though it looks like, oh yeah, they're like super non-biased, like they probably are, you know? And that, just thinking about like how everything we are fed is like coming from the rich white people in power, it's like scary. But yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that one too. Just how easily like manipulated we are. And I think that it's been like noteworthy for me to see how much you guys are also affected by this like epiphany, because yeah, I'm sure we can all recognize that like our screen, like our like time on our screen, what am I looking for, the word I'm looking for, your screen time, whatever, is really high. I was just not picking up my brain, I don't know. Our screen time's like outrageously high, but it's kind of like, oh, like haha, la-di-da, it's just a number. But then we compare notes, or we like talk about with each other, and it's like, oh yeah, I will also mindlessly scroll on TikTok for hours, or like get caught up in a TV show, or you know, like something like that. So to hear like y'all's like similar experiences, I think to me has made me a little bit more skeptical of what I'm giving my time to, which has been cool. I feel like I'm not on my phone as much.
I agree with that.
I feel like I've been like more aware. Like now that like I know, like you know, like this class has taught me a lot on like, and like all the dark sides about like pop culture and like social media too. So kind of like now it's in my head. I'm like, wait, like, is this? And now all like the targeted ads and stuff, I'm always like, I always get like sketched out. I'm like, ugh, I know this is bad.
That's funny. I work a job where we do like event catering, and I was at this like office building the other day, and it was like a really cool office building, and like they had like graffiti art on the walls and like stuff like that, and it like immediately made me like think of class and how like now like I just did that lesson, and like the next week I like went to this like really nice office space that like used graffiti art on the wall to like decorate, and I thought that was so like fitting for like what we just watched. I thought it was just like so funny because like I never would have like, I would have thought of it like, oh, that's cool, but like never would have thought about it like how I like do now from class, and it was like it immediately stuck out to me and I thought of class.
You're like, oh yeah, like that's a burner.
Yeah.
No, I know what you mean. The train was going really slowly in front of me this morning, and the whole time I was just like studying the different graffiti on each different train.
That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like taking this class makes you like, I mean, like other sociology classes, you know, they're very like, oh, like crime, drugs, like they have their topics, but this one was cool just because like it's things that we're like pretty much like immersed in like on a constant basis if you're like on Twitter or TikTok. So like just learning how to analyze the things that entertain us is like really cool.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like we all like have like different things we want to do like career wise in the future, but this like helps us all like in each of those careers, like just like how you said, like being able to like analyze and like have a better understanding of like the world around you and like how the media is, I think will help like all of us, which I think is so cool because we're all wanting to like do something different.
So what have you appreciated about each other the most?
We've kind of been addressing all these questions.
I appreciate y'all for always like making time to talk and stuff every week. Like it is kind of hard, like everybody to match their schedule and stuff. You know, everybody has different schedules. So, I mean, we always made it work. So that was a good thing.
Yeah, and I feel like we never had a problem with being like, okay, who's submitting? Okay, who's making the thing? Like we were all like super willing to like do it when like we needed to do it, which I like really appreciated also.
Yeah, I feel like everything we've done has been very like collaborative and everyone's been participating and stuff, and that's really cool. Because I've been in some groups, it's not like that, so.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I've had some groups even this semester where it's like it feels like pooling teeth just to get people to respond, and it's like, okay, like y'all don't care about this. No, yeah, everything y'all have said, I agree 100%. I also just, like I said, I think y'all are all cool people. Like I appreciate your opinions. Obviously, like we all are like very different on our own right, but I think in general we have like a very respectable approach to just discussing things. And all of you are like, I can tell you're open-minded. You know, like you're not really like judgmental or just kind of like stubborn to things, which I really appreciate in like a conversation that I'm having. So thanks for talking.
Yeah, at first I literally was like dreading. I was like, oh my God, no, we're going to do group discussions every week. Like I was so worried about it because I was like, oh, no one's going to talk. It's just going to be awkward. Like I was so worried about it, which I do have a class right now, like art history, and nobody talks. It's so uncomfortable. So I really appreciate for y'all like participating. Everybody's been super cool, and it's always been like a cool like conversation.
Well, we have like a minute left, so I guess it's time to say your goodbyes. So bye, everyone.
Oh, well, congratulations on graduating and like wherever you guys end up moving. I know Paige is going to LA.
I'm going to Austin.
Okay.
Fun! Oh my gosh, you're gonna have so much fun there.
Hold on, let me turn on my video. So we're gonna say goodbye.
Yeah, because you're going to Denver, right?
Yeah, I moved there July 1st.
Ah, that's so soon.
Oh my gosh, so soon. Oh, I love how all of you guys are going in different places. I'll be here.
How far are you from graduating, Chandler?
One more year, so I'll graduate next spring, 2022.
Nice.
Got it.
Well, I'll stop the recording if you guys want to make the deliverable. Bye.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Bye.